much, Catarina, Jessica, and Tomas, for joining me with this conversation about admissions questions that students have currently. We are going to share this video with students from all our OPS high schools and near area high schools that have graduated and are attending or want to attend UNO this year, and then hopefully in the future as well, whenever you want.
Hi, my name is Catarina. I'm a transfer representative with undergraduate admissions at UNO. Hola, mi nombre es Catarina. Yo trabajo con los estudiantes transferidos a la Universidad de Nebraska, Omaha.
Mi nombre es Jessica, soy alumna de la Universidad de Nebraska en Omaha y ahora estoy trabajando en el departamento de admisiones asistiendo a los estudiantes comenzar el proceso de admisiones.
Hi, my name is Jessica. I am a UNO alum and I am now working in the admissions department assisting students with the admissions process.
Hello, my name is Thomas Martinez and I am one of the admissions representatives here at the University of Nebraska at Omaha. Hola a toda mi gente que están escuchando. Me llamo Thomas Martinez y soy uno de los representantes aquí en la oficina de admissions en la Universidad de Nebraska, Omaha.
We received a few questions from students that I would like to share with you. You can decide who wants to answer them in any order. I might add a follow-up question at some point if I think that might be needed. And if you have any questions for English, just let me know. Okay, so thinking like a first year student, right? What student support is available for students in general, and especially for Latinos that are coming to UNO?
So at UNO, we have tons of support systems that students can take advantage of. I know as a first generation student myself, being the first of my family to go to college, it was definitely really scary. Just finding the resources that are available to students that they can utilize on campus. But at UNO, we have tons of opportunities. We have the multicultural affairs, which is welcome to all students and they can print for free. There's resources that they can talk to somebody if they don't feel safe on campus. I know right now it's a really scary time in our lives. So when they are on campus, they can definitely utilize the multicultural affairs. We have the financial support and scholarship that they can utilize as well if they want to kind of see what their financial aid looks like and just kind of look at their financial aid package with the counselor. And so they can go to the financial support and scholarships. For our students who are military, you know, we have the Office of Military Veterans Affairs where they can utilize those, and even their spouses have access to those as well. And just kind of, you know, seeing if they can utilize their benefits or whatnot. And of course, students, we do get tons of students that are undecided. So academic and career development centers are a great place to kind of explore their different majors that they kind of want to see. And students sometimes, you know, coming in, they have like a major in mind, but they don't really think that they can still explore majors. And so that's a really great opportunity for the academic and career development, and as well as, you know, helping them with their resume, exploring jobs, internships. So there are tons of opportunities on campus that they can utilize. But these are just some of the ones that kind of stick out to me the most.
And students, first year students have the possibility of applying to several universities. In our state, there are not only UNO, but there is, you know, Creighton, Midland, Lincoln, Wesleyan, and other universities. What do you think that sets UNO apart from other universities in the area?
Yeah, so UNO happens to be the perfect balance between a big university institution with the small classroom feel. And so we look at some other universities and sometimes they're huge, right? The population's big, the enrollment numbers are, you know, through the roof. And so sometimes as a student, you could become a number really easily. And so here at UNO, what I've felt, you know, as my being an alumni here as well, it's, you're not a number. You know, you actually have a face, you actually have a name. I believe right now the average is 17 students per classroom, per teacher, I believe. And so between 17 and 25. And so with that being said, you know, you have access to all these great minds and all these great talents in regards to teachers and staff. So that's one thing. The other thing that sets UNO apart is the community, as far as the surrounding city. You know, being a metropolitan university, as a Latino student, you know, you want more opportunities and you want more chances to succeed. And so definitely, like, for example, if you're studying law, you know, there's going to be plenty of places that are going to be looking for internships. If you want to get into law, if you want to get into media, if you want to get into journalism, there are going to be plenty of opportunities. And the university does most of the heavy lifting for you. The departments themselves go out and seek which places are looking for talented students. And definitely, as a Latino student, more opportunities could definitely help our community.
And you know, all universities have their, you know, best programs, things that are well known for. Which one can you say that is UNO's most known for? Which program is UNO's most known for?
You know, it really depends on who you ask. You know, of course, everyone is a fan of either their own college from where they graduated from, or the college that they are teaching. But something that I've heard of recently is the biomechanics department, STEM in general, but the biomechanics department is doing phenomenal work in regards to research nationally. And I believe they're nationally ranked right now as far as being one of the best biomedical colleges in the nation. So that, I know, is one of the academic programs that definitely stands out right now. And another one is our business program. They, you know, have a phenomenal facility. I think it's brand new. I think it's less than 5 years old. Correct me if I'm wrong. But if you're a business major, for example, they also have like a store underneath on the first level where students can work and manage. Only students manage and run that operation as far as the store. And so, I mean, that's just one example. I've heard really great things from the business administration campus. And so definitely those two are the ones that stand out for me when you ask that question.
Now, you know, while it still is a metropolitan university, we have buses that will stop right at the door of, you know, and especially Dodge campus, and there's the shuttle between Dodge campus and Scott campus. There are many students that use their car because they come for one class and they have to go back to work or some other reason. And I've been told, I don't drive to campus, I walk. But I've been told that there are several issues with parking, and students that come from other areas driving might have issues. What do you say, or what kind of issues can they find, and why is that?
Yes, so we do have tons of issues with parking, just like any other university that students may attend anywhere else in the country. And so with the rise of incoming students, more students wanting to go back to school, that is always going to be an issue no matter what. It's been an issue in the past, and it's going to be an issue in the future. However, here at UNO, we've implemented a lot of different opportunities for students to take advantage of our metro buses. So students with their Maverick card, they have access to the bus for free. So if you don't feel comfortable driving to school, or you're getting tired of looking for parking, they can definitely take advantage of the metro. And of course, we do have other programs such as carpool permits. So students can actually they have an app they can download. And so when, let's say a student is in the same neighborhood with another student, and so they can just pick up that student and go to school together. So that way they can get a carpool permit, which is really great. So UNO is definitely implementing a lot of different places to kind of tackle these issues that we have with parking. So like I said, parking is always going to be an issue, even way before the college was small. And then even later on in the future, that's always going to be a problem. But UNO is always one step ahead in trying to solve these issues.
Great. So one of the concerns of every student, and sometimes their parents, or most times their parents as well, is how much it's going to cost, right? What is the cost of attendance? You know, what can you tell students about paying for, you know, compared to other universities, or the relevance of paying for college?
Yes, so as we're talking about cost of attendance, we're actually looking at as a whole. So there's 3 factors that go into cost of attendance. So one of them is tuition, the other one is housing and meals, and books. So all those 3 components are the cost of tuition. So if we were to break it down for the 2019-2020 academic year for Nebraska in-state residents, for tuition, we're looking at about $7,980. For housing and meals, we're looking at, and for books, we're looking at about $1,162 for a grand total of $19,000, which of course, $19,000 is a lot of money, but it's important to keep in mind that UNO is actually the most affordable 4-year public institution in the state of Nebraska, which is actually, we're pretty proud of that. And of course, $19,000 is a large amount of money. We won't dismiss that, but we also have a lot of opportunities here on campus. We do have the Goodrich Foundation on campus that does cover the full cost of tuition for students. We also have the Buffett scholarship as well that does cover the cost of tuition. We have the Regents, Chancellors, Dean. We have a lot of scholarships. We do have a page on our website. We'll break down the requisites for the scholarships, and as well, when students do apply to UNO and they are accepted, they can go on to their MathLink, which is their student portal here at UNO, and begin to seek more scholarships based on the program of their interest. And if they have outside scholarships, they can also be applied to UNO, which tremendously does reduce the cost of tuition. And I know that a lot of students are wondering, well, housing is $9,920. Is it required to live on campus? For UNO, it is not required to live on campus the first year or any year. In fact, that is one way to reduce the cost of tuition. And students do choose to live on campus just to get the full college experience, because sometimes it is easier living on campus and just having to walk 10 minutes to your class or bike, skateboard, whichever transportation method that students choose. So that's just an option that we have for our students.
So Jessica, you mentioned that the semester, the tuition is about $7,000, a little bit more over than $7,000, but that allows you to take a certain number of credits, right?
Yes.
How many credits is that? And can the students take less credits or more? How does it work?
Yes, so this is an estimated based on 27 credit hours for the fall and the spring. So typically students can go part-time, full-time, depending on their ability to attend college. And it just may depend on if they have a scholarship that may require them to do certain hours. So typically at UNO, we break it down. Typically a class is worth 3 credit hours. So if you're full-time status, that means that you need to be enrolled in 4 classes. So that is a total of 12 credit hours. And for the fall semester and spring semester, that is considered full-time status.
Okay, and that is either online, remote learning, or any way of developing, of teaching the class from the perspective of the professor, right?
Yes.
And you can mix and match. You can take credits online and take credits at UNO as well.
Yes.
And I was told that for this year, the cost of a online class is going to be the same as that of a face-to-face class, right? Is that correct?
Yes, it is for the fall term, just because due to COVID-19, it was for the summer term. I know that we shifted to online remote learning. So there is a cost difference between on-campus classes and online campus classes. But because due to COVID-19, students didn't necessarily enroll into an online class, so the price was the same for an on-campus class. So UNO does work with their students and does recognize that, we need to be flexible.
Thank you. And as we talked before, we, from the perspective of OLLAS, our first group of interest are Latino students. Right, we cater to all students on campus. We think that all students should learn about Latin America, about Latinos. But this video, this conversation is more directed towards Latino students. And some of them might be concerned about finding other Latinos on campus or meeting other people. how diverse is UNO? How diverse is the campus?
When it comes to diversity, that's something that I was certainly concerned about myself. I come from a different state. So I come from California, specifically Los Angeles, and all we know is a melting pot over there. All we know is diversity from the moment that we're born. And so coming to UNO, I was certainly worried about if there was going to be a lack of diversity for my own personal standards. And so when you worry if there's enough diversity on campus, you're concerned if people are going to understand your needs as a Latino student. Are they going to understand your point of view? Are they going to understand your culture? Are they going to be accepting of your culture? And lo and behold, all my needs were met when I came to UNO. I just had to find my people or our people. I had to go to the multicultural affairs and find someone like Elizabeth Blanco, for example, who will take you under her wing and just, guide you into the right resources or the right population or the right people that are going to feed that need that you have for your culture, for your own people. And so certainly the diversity is there, beyond the Latino community. UNO is representing, I believe, over 100 different countries. So we have students from 100 different countries on campus right now. And so the reason I bring that up is because the staff, the teachers, the faculty, they all know this, that we're a campus of diversity, inclusion. And so they understand the needs of not only the entire international population, but also the needs of our Latino community as well.
Thanks, Thomas. Now, for students who are coming right out of college, right out of high school, the changes are enormous. We all know that. We've all gone through that process. And one of the changes that is important is how they feel in class, especially in this case when students are taking on face-to-face class, right, or in-person class. Can you tell me a little bit about what is the average class size?
Yes, so I know Thomas had spoken on this about the average class size that you'll see on UNO campus. So we have a 17-to-1 faculty-student ratio. And when I say the 17-to-1 ratio, the average class size that you'll see, and from my personal experience as well, when I had a class, the average class size was around 26 students. And then of course there's one faculty member. So those classes are medium sized, they're not too big, they're not too small, it's just the right amount of students for my personal opinion. And so a lot of students as well, they kind of, coming in from a smaller high school, like Omaha South or Omaha Bryan, you kind of see, you're already kind of accustomed to having at least that average size. So it's not a really big change, it's kind of just a change that you're going into college. And the biggest class that I took while at UNO was going to be the biology class. In biology, because it's a really popular class that every student wants to take or has to take or required to take. So that one's probably going to be the biggest one. And typically the average class size for that class is going to be 40. So it just depends on if the class is popular, they'll be a little bit bigger, but otherwise most classes are going to be 26. So students, are comfortable in that classroom, they could be heard. I always tell students, when you go to college, make sure that you sit up front or make sure that you sit in the middle, because you want your professors to notice you, you want to be heard. Speaking from personal experience, I was a shy person myself. So, the first year that I was there as a freshman, I sat all the way in the back and I felt like I wasn't getting the material. And so then I moved up to the front and I sat right up front where everybody can see me, the professor can see me. And if there was a question that I had, he could look at my face and he'd be like, oh, you have a question? So average class size 17-to-1, so 26 overall.
That's great. My previous institution, where I did my PhD and then where I taught for a couple of years, I had classes of 120 and up to 300 students. That then coming here to teach the smaller classes, it feels a lot more personal. There's a lot more activities that you can do as a professor with students. You get to know them more. So I think that the class size small is very important. It's very interesting, but I agree with you. Students should, you know, sit and participate and engage in the class and engage in class constantly. That's always good in terms of their learning process. So thank you, Catarina. So we're in the current situation that's difficult for all of us, right? We, as everyone knows, we're working from home. We're increasing our number of online classes, and things have changed, and they will remain in this way for some time. UNO is returning to have face-to-face classes in the fall, but there's also going to be online classes and what's called remote learning, which is just like a face-to-face class, only via Zoom. So it has a definite schedule. Students meet with the professor and so on. Can you tell me a little bit about how is COVID-19 affecting student life at UNO?
Yeah, so honestly, as a student previously and now as a worker there, it is something that we constantly monitor. It is something that we constantly are concerned about, right? And the pandemic of COVID-19 has constantly evolved and still is evolving. And so I put my trust in the fact that we're connected and partnered with UNMC, and the fact that we have such an amazing facility, I think about a mile away from the campus. We receive some of the best information coming directly from the CDC to UNMC, and those same directors are our directors as well, or partnered with us. And so I feel extremely confident in saying that I feel safe, you know, as a student or a worker there. But we've made changes, you know, and we were really happy to say that in the fall, we're going to continue our classes as usual, you know, as far as having them in person. And as you mentioned, we also have the option of remote learning, and we also have another option, which is hybrid. And so we have those options for students. And if having those options is always a great thing. You know, if you don't feel completely safe personally, or you have some sort of anxiety of coming to a class, you know, you do have those other options. And again, if you question your success taking a remote learning class or taking a hybrid class, there are plenty of resources. You know, just come ask one of us, and we can help you out and guide you within that. And so, to give you a simple answer beyond all that, the situation is constantly evolving, and so are we. And we're becoming very flexible and informing the students as soon as we find out the information as well.
Thanks. Now, when we think about COVID-19 and the fact that students have to take more online classes, or that some of them will want to take more online classes or more remote learning classes, are this harder for students than a face-to-face class?
So to be honest with you, I wouldn't necessarily say harder. It's definitely important to know your learning style. It's definitely knowing time management, knowing when to log into the computer, being on top of the syllabus, which basically is your schedule for the course, knowing when to log into the computer to complete assignments, discussions, quizzes, or any tests that may be available. So definitely, I wouldn't necessarily say it's harder. I would say it's about the same with an on-campus class. Earlier on, like during my academic year, I took a hybrid course with Thomas introduced the term earlier. So basically a hybrid course is the way that my hybrid course was structured, and they may all be structured differently. The class was held on Tuesdays in class, and then on Thursdays online. So we met on campus on Tuesday, discussed anything that needed to be discussed, if we had any questions about the weekly assignments. And then on Thursday, we were basically responsible for logging onto our computer at a certain time to go ahead and do any discussions that were needed, any assignments. So I would say it's about the same.
Thanks. Now, and other concern that students have is that access to internet, right? Since I started working from home, my kids, I have, you know, three, the two oldest are in school, one in just finished elementary, the other one is in just finished year 9. They also were, taking classes, right? So we're all engaged in using internet at the same time, and that meant that my internet was slower, or that there were times that will collapse. So other students might not have access to internet at home, right? What happened with those students? What can you tell them about access to internet?
So definitely this is a difficult time. So for all UNO students, they have access to our library, which they have access to use the computer labs that are located on there. There's computer labs throughout the campus as well that students can schedule and use. And of course, the week before finals week, the library's open later hours, probably until midnight. So students can go ahead and study for their finals. If students are part of any group on campus, so like TLC, Goodrich, Scott Scholars, they have their own computer labs. And of course that includes free printing, which is a plus on campus. I know for the Scott Scholars, which is a prestigious scholarship, they are actually provided a laptop to use during the duration of their scholarship. And then I know that on campus during our IT services, they also rent out equipment for students to use for their courses. So whether that's a laptop, a computer, any recording equipment, students can use on campus. And then earlier, Kat did mention the multicultural fairs, which is also a benefit for students on campus. They do have computer labs available, and they also have free printing as well.
Thank you. Those are the questions that we received from students. And before we go, I would like to ask you if there's anything else you'd like to say, our students or their parents, right? It can be in Spanish, it can be in English, however you say it, but please tell them about the good things about coming to UNO. Catarina, do you want to start?
Yes, so some of the good things that coming to UNO is it's definitely affordable. I know as a first generation student myself, and a lot of students that are coming to UNO, they're first generation, and it's very affordable in the fact that, there's tons of opportunity for scholarships, tons of opportunity for grants that students can apply for. And there's always help that, our staff and faculty are always given to students, and there's always a place for them to feel welcomed, such as the multicultural fairs, such as, arts and science, or just anywhere in our building. All of our students are safe, welcome, and included.
Thank you. Jessica?
Yes, so one of my biggest concerns graduating high school was the transition into college. I think that was one of the most difficult things I struggled with. And just know that there is group resources to help you make that transition. One of my biggest barriers was actually the course load from high school, thinking that it would be equivalent in college. And after my very first midterm, come to realize that it's completely not. You actually do have to study, be on top of your syllabus, all of your classes in order to succeed in college. It is not impossible, but it truly is a challenge. But there is resources on campus to help you succeed. So we do have the math, the speech, and the English centers to help students. And also we do have like languages on campus. So if students are fluent and feel very comfortable tutoring, that is also a service that UNO students can take advantage of. So as a new incoming student on campus, make sure that you know how to use your resources, know how to find them, take full benefit of the resources available on campus.
Thanks. Tomas?
Yeah, as a Chicano raised by 2 immigrant grandparents from Chihuahua, I was taken away from my parents. I had every excuse in the book to fail, to not go to school. And the unknown is always scary. And one of my setbacks was always something financial, right? And I'm here to tell you that I was told this, there's always money to be given out. There's always somebody out there looking for some sort of talented student in need to give their money to, so make those connections, ask those questions. And I'm just here to tell you that sí se puede.
Muchas gracias. So that was our questions or the students' questions. And I would like to thank you for talking to me and through me talking to our students. And that's it. Bye.